Sure low. It's very grand.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to yet another episode of What's on the Box. This is episode 3 for us, and I think 3 for you guys too, probably. Given the way time works.
It'd be weird if they seen like episode 4 or something. It's just like, wait a second.
If you have watched episode 4 before episode 3, then I recommend looking at the number of the episode you're watching.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, this is episode 3. Welcome back if you're coming back, and if you're just joining us, welcome to the show. I am one of your hosts. It's Kevin here, and once again joined by my co-host, who you know very well if you watch this channel at all.
Which they
go and
definitely
introduce
don't.
yourself.
They don't.
They definitely don't. They've just come here and they watch everything in the wrong order.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Why don't you introduce yourself?
Here's an interesting one. I'm not sure if it's the right country, but anyway, my name's Daniel. Hello. Anyway, but here's the thing. Kazi was looking at some of this. Owen was looking at some of the stats about countries, and I think it was Indonesia. Like, for like a month or two, the most listeners we had were from Indonesia. So first of all, hello Indonesia, or country that I'm forgetting, which is quite rude.
Thank all of you viewers who are either from Indonesia or who are subscribed to NordVPN.
Yeah, hold on. Why would you need NordVPN to listen to us? Okay, this is the thing.
You change your where your ping is coming from or something.
Yeah.
You change your location.
Yeah, I know how NordVPN works, but I'm wondering, like, because I think I'm just so used to using like those things to watch movies and TV shows from other countries. I don't think of the security aspect anymore. So it's just like, what country has us blocked that you have to use NordVPN to listen to us? And anyway, that's amazing that some people said, no, I must listen to show it to be grand. You know?
We're happy to have you.
Yeah, that was a roughly Middle Eastern to end of Asia accent, by the way.
Yeah, so everyone that is blanketed by that area, feel free to send in your hate mail.
No, it was a mix of. I'm not being offensive to a certain people, just all the people.
You were just shotgunning the entire.
To be fair, it's mostly Asia, which is most people. So I was generalizing.
Yeah. You were generalizing to most of Asia.
The human race, because that's most of the human race is Asia.
I guess so. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I've not seen backpedaling like that since I watched the Tour de France in reverse.
There's no backpedaling.
Yeah.
I was about to make a testicle joke.
Well, okay. Please tell me how you're going to make.
Because you don't Tour de France, and then I thought of Armstrong.
I see. I'm fully caught up with the testicles of the Tour de France.
Yeah. Or testicle, if you want to get specific. Anyway.
Yes. He's not the only testicles in the Tour de France. Anyway.
No, apparently they used to like do during the Tour de France is like put chicken fillets in their groin area to like keep it soft back in the day, and then at the end of it, because they've been like cycling so long, it was cooked and they'd eat it.
No, nothing could make me do that shit.
Yeah,
like cyclists, there are things that are you're able to put down there that isn't raw chicken.
I mean, arguably, it's also salted at that stage, isn't it?
There's like problems. There's so many issues.
I mean, you'd want to tell your partner before you went to bed, wouldn't you? Because yeah, anyway.
Salmonella. Anyway,
yeah. Now, that's a thing to fucking explain to the health people or doctor that you visit. It's like, yeah, I got salmonella. Where? Well,
well, you see, my husband, notable cyclist.
Oh, I know the story. Yes.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about what cyclists do in their pants.
No, we certainly don't.
We're here to talk about She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, yes.
Wow, we went on a journey to get here. The title card.
Here's the thing, just from the start, because, we'll probably change our mind by the time we've discussed this, but stuff happened in this episode, but it also felt like the episode that the least amount of stuff happened.
Like so far, yeah.
Yeah, but like still, major things happened. You know, we saw
Mhm.
Abomination turn into Abomination. He got free out of prison. You know, what else happened?
We had a side story court case involving mostly humor, jokes, and shit.
Yeah, with
Uh,
famous actress something Stallion.
yeah, Megan the Stallion.
She's a musician, isn't she? She's not an actress at all. What am I
Yeah,
saying?
she's a musician.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we could go into it.
Yeah, let's get into the episode starting from the beginning. We left off from the last episode. She-Hulk has just found out about the movie Shang-Chi having an Abomination cameo.
And
Uh,
yeah, and like Wong shows up and makes a big point to say that no, like the whole discussion is like, oh no, he was definitely forced because I needed to train and prove myself as the Wizard Supreme, or Sorcerer Supreme. You know, I had to prove, but like it never felt genuine that like, yes, I had to force him. Wink,
yeah, no,
wink.
it felt like an excuse. Well, I in regards to this, I do have to bring up. I was doing some research, various websites, looking at things for like references for Easter eggs and stuff that we might have missed. And I just have to bring up this one website. I can't remember. I just took a screenshot of it because I love the way they wrote this. Not only does Wong show a complete disdain for the laws of the land, but he's also kind of a dick.
He is sort of a dick.
Yeah.
To be fair, I like Wong genuinely.
Mhm.
I think he's a fun character. I think he's the straight man for Strange.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's always been a bit of a douche. I like the little mention we had to No Way Home as well. He's
Yeah,
like, oh,
he's like,
don't ask me to like make everyone forget. You know,
won't deal with that.
yeah, again, and it's just like, wait, you do remember the spell? And I'm guessing Strange obviously remembers the spell. You know, who else would
Yeah,
have told him?
like, I mean, they'd remember casting the spell. They probably just don't remember what the spell like
Yeah.
is supposed to have done.
And I suppose it goes back to the point, like me and Kazi was now we're saying in the Strange, no, in the Spider-Man movie. I think we were saying it, like it's a magic spell. So like I know those people say, oh, but that means this wouldn't make sense. Yeah, but the thing is, it's magic. Like if it was let's say a science serum where people forgot, then I'd be like, okay, that doesn't make sense. Why do people remember this but they don't remember that? It's magic. It's going to fulfill the plot wherever it's needed until it doesn't need it. You know?
Yeah, no, that like the magic spells just don't have rules, and people should learn that magic doesn't have rules, or else they're
Yeah.
going to be really unhappy about a lot of things.
To quote one Bo Burnham, magic isn't real, you idiot.
Read a book. Yeah, no, like fucking I don't get why people got so in a twist about that. They're like, oh, but like his legal documents. It's like, yes, the legal documents, the stuff that notably spells do not cover when
Yeah.
cast.
Oh, you know what? I one thing I really loved that was at the beginning of this is when they had all the Facebook and Twitter and YouTube comments and all that kind of stuff, and they took the absolute hell out of all those misogynistic assholes. Just like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Why can't they just make their own character? And oh, they took all the masculinity away from Hulk and put it into a woman. What is that? And it's just like all this stuff, and it's just like they didn't even have to make this up. They literally had to just go to any Facebook comment section of She-Hulk posts and just read what some people said and copy and paste it.
This is one intern who was asked to scroll Twitter for an hour.
Not worth the money.
Yeah,
not worth the money.
They were just taking like screen caps, just going through it.
Genuinely, it's. I'm not even like over stating it. It was just what comments I've seen said all over, like 100%. You know?
Yeah, and like it's so it's so weird. I was watching it and I'm like, is this like the whole episode is going to be just this? Is it? It wasn't. No, it was just that section.
Yeah.
So I'm actually quite like surprised the show has been restrained in that aspect.
I really loved the meta commentary again from She-Hulk as well, where she's just like, hey, just remember, this is my show. This is not like one of those shows where we have a cameo every episode. Well, except for Bruce and Abomination. And just remember, it's my show.
Yeah. Like very, very high horse to sit on when we know that Charlie Cox is going to appear.
Oh, the fan. It actually was the most beautiful thing I've seen the fandom do, is like get him back, because it was the fandom. It was people saying, "Don't you dare get rid of him," and like it was the most peaceful way of doing it as well. Like I didn't see anyone like absolutely like being an asshole about it. They're just like, we really want him back. Could you do that?
Yeah, I mean, like you don't need to go and review bomb other unrelated movies just to get your fan project, like your fan want made, you know?
Anyway, how's the DC universe doing?
I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Look, if there's people asking for it, I'll talk about it, but I ain't going to talk about it.
Yeah. Here's a fun thing. So first of all, there's one of the side court cases is with Jennifer's one of her ex lawyers she used to work with.
Yeah, ex co-worker.
Yeah, and he's the guy who's like, I'm gonna talk to it from the bar and all this kind of stuff. And it turns out he thought he was dating a celebrity on some sort of celebrity Tinder, I believe. I don't know. He was paying a subscription for Hollywood something, and I forgot her name already, but it's something Stallion. Do you remember?
Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah. You're gonna forget this every time.
Yeah, I am.
You've already forgotten it.
Yeah,
3 times.
But I like, as I was watching them, because one thing I do is like when I'm watching, I'm taking notes and I'm searching little references here and there, and for the show. And I was like, oh, I wonder who she is. So I wrote out the line and put Marvel at the end, because that's usually what I do with like Marvel characters from TV shows, to find out, oh, where's the Marvel wiki? And it tells me something about the character. I typed out and went, oh no, she's a real person. I think it's, first of all, it just shows you how completely out of touch I am with like celebrity in general. But also, I think it's just because the Stallion name is such a strong, powerful name that, like, that's a comic book name. Bet you she turns into, like, a horsewoman at some stage in the comics. You know?
There's no horsewoman.
Excuse me, there's no horsewoman. I believe Thor knows someone who's a horseman.
Yeah, okay. Like, I don't think Beta Ray Bill counts as a horseman. He just has a long face.
He kind of does. Look, you point him to most people and you ask him, what animal does that look like? They're going to say a fucking horse.
I mean, obviously, if you put into their head, what animal does he look like? But if you just ask, what do you think that guy's name is? They're not going to be like, oh, horseman. He's dressed like Thor.
He's just like Thor with a fucking horse head. Even his skeleton head, we saw referenced in, was it Guardians of the Galaxy? The skull.
I think it was Ragnarok.
Ragnarok, was it Ragnarok? Are you sure? No,
I think in Ragnarok there was a statue of him, wasn't there?
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about the statue, but there was a statue. I was talking earlier in Guardians of the Galaxy when we first see him like dancing away when he's going to that place where the guys I don't know who you are. He does
maybe.
That was a reference, like Beta. It was like a skull.
I know what you're talking about, and my answer to that is a firm maybe. That was Beta. Yeah.
Anyway, we're just horsing around, folks.
No, we're focusing on the horse in the room.
Yes.
But anyway, so what the fuck are we talking about? Oh, yeah, the side plot. This guy thinks he's dating Megan Thee Stallion. It's actually a
light elf.
A light elf shapeshifter from Asgard.
Yeah.
And there's a cute line in it when they're in the actual court case when they're trying to defend themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like my client is like the daughter of an Asgardian ambassador, and he's like, and the judge is like, we're not in Asgard, so you don't have like political immunity or whatever. And she's like, but Asgard isn't a place, it's a people. And he's like, Thor's speeches don't hold up in a court of law.
Yeah. Okay, here's a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so what Thor must have said must have just become a slogan in New Asgard and then spread from there.
No, do you know what it was?
Go on.
And they keep doing plays of the Thor movies in Asgard,
Yeah, that
so
is
that's
it.
what it
Yeah, yeah,
is.
yeah. Yeah, they showed up in the new
Um,
Asgard movie again as well. They,
yeah, so 100%, this has just become. It's probably becoming like a Broadway thing.
oh, well, I mean, we already have a Broadway show.
We do have a Broadway show. It's a
Yeah, yeah,
musical.
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Asgardians take to Hollywood. They've got shapeshifters, they can pretend to be
They're too
like
dramatic not to be. They're already walking around in bloody curtains and speaking like Shakespeare half the time. You know?
exactly, and you're speaking like Robert Downey Jr.'s jokes in Avengers 1.
Not dated at all.
Not dated at all.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Duff
so
mother
yeah,
no.
anyway, the what's it called? Yeah, so they do the court case and they do a few jokes with the shapeshifter, like pretends to be the judge or the person who's suing her.
Yeah.
Um,
But
and
this
it's
is the
like,
second
wow,
time because doesn't she break into the office at one stage pretending to be a fella before
he
this?
does a bit earlier.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
he's saying his lawyer's asking how much did you spend, and he's like about $175,000.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's how much people spend on a house, and he's like, really?
Yeah. But
And
here's
then
here's a real question, right?
Mhm.
How much money do you think Red Bull has spent for this show to name drop them very strongly?
um, I don't know,
Because they like first of all, like
a
how
lot.
can there be any Red Bull in this entire building? And then they like have a can right in front with the label pointed forwards and sipping away at it. I, is there a big demographic Venn diagram of like Red Bull drinkers and She-Hulk?
I don't think there is one. I think Red Bull were just like, hey Marvel, can we get sponsored? And they're like, let's see what we got coming up.
You
Uh,
know, like maybe it's just me, but I feel like Monster would have been a better brand choice. You know?
that's that's actually very correct.
Yeah,
Unless a
yeah.
character comes in later that has wings.
I mean, there's definitely Avengers like Monster cans, like with different flavors.
Yes. Oh no, like if there's Ben and Jerry's flavors,
Yeah.
there is a Hulk flavor monster.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There's actually, technically speaking, in the MCU canon, we already have a Hulk flavored energy drink that killed Stanley's cameo in one of the movies.
That's right, with a blood drop into it, but it's not Hulk themed.
It's Hulk flavored.
Flavored, yes. Okay, yes, that's very fair. There is
Yeah.
blood of him in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay.
But yeah, I think actually the drink was like an irradiated green color as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so that court case is very much a side plot. It literally has no bearing. I think there's one line that's important at the end. But that side plot with the light elf defrauding dumbass guy lawyer.
This must be the first time we've seen the Light Elves.
Yeah, this is the first time they've ever been mentioned.
Because we've had the Dark Elves.
We have, yeah. And it was like a big deal that the Dark Elves existed. Do you think that there was just elves and then the Dark Elves appeared and they're like, well, I guess we need a distinction or something?
And did what?
Hmm?
And did what?
And needed a distinction.
I don't know what you mean, though.
Like the Dark Elves came and they're like, oh, we can't be elves and dark elves. I guess we're light elves now because they're dark elves or something.
I don't know, man. Like, do you think like white people walked into Africa and went, "Well, we can't be black humans. We have to be white humans." Like, I don't think like they had like a meeting over this.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you, man. I do think that when white people went to Africa is when they started calling themselves white people and black people.
I mean, yeah, probably. At least the slavery years. Slavery years. What the kind of fucking phrase is that? Anyway.
God, we're going through it today, guys.
Yeah. Just to let you know, I've been working all day. Yeah.
Let's talk about the actual plot of this episode.
Yeah.
Which focuses on Jen, She-Hulk, trying to convince the parole board to actually parole Abomination after his breakout.
Yes.
And so she goes to Emil and she's like, "Hey, why did you break out?" And he's like, "I was forced to. This guy named Wong asked me to, and he broke me out so we could fight in some club."
Yeah, but I chose to return. That
And
was the
she's
big
like,
one.
"I can use that. I just need Wong."
Yeah, Wong
Uh,
was instantly going, dark dimension, mirror dimension. Should we put him there? It's like,
yeah,
what's up with you, Wong? Like, that's
yeah,
pretty
Wong,
fucked up.
have you just gotten like, is how much fuck ups are happening at Convertage that you're just like immediately like imprisonment dimension, like
Yeah,
get it out of here.
yeah. I mean, he's a bit of a dictator, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that I think that being the Sorcerer Supreme isn't a good color on him anymore.
No. Do you think they're going to change that back around again? Make Strange back into the Sorcerer Supreme?
Yes, by the next movie.
Or do you think they might be trying to, like when Benedict Cumberbatch decides to move on, they can have someone else become Sorcerer Supreme?
I mean, I imagine the next Sorcerer Supreme will just be whoever the next big magic user of the MCU is.
Yeah, that's true.
Like whether that be like,
It could be America.
could be Marika. She's generally not tied to sorcery as much, but she is learning it now.
Yeah, exactly.
I could see who could be Sorcerer Supreme. Maybe fuck a Loki reincarnation, maybe. Because he does have good reincarnations, and like they don't even have to keep Tom Hiddleston; they can just reincarnate him as different people. Because like it's not like they don't have variants.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of, I think variants are their way around recasting in the future.
Yeah, it could very well. I mean, I think that's the whole idea of the multiverse in general. You know, that just open up so that I don't think they're going to just like take anyone and say, "Oh, here's a new Captain America." First of all, we have Captain America, but I don't think they're going to just like pluck, let's say, an Iron Man out of the multiverse. That this is just the same Iron Man, just a different actor. I think it'll be Iron Man mixed with something else, for example. You know, like, oh, this is Iron Man who I don't know, likes to build giant robots or something like, you know, it's just something like that.
Yeah, this is the Pacific Rim Iron Man.
Oh god, could you imagine? That'd be cool as hell.
That's specifically from the Kaiju MCU.
Yeah.
Where the Hulk is a kaiju and the Abomination's a kaiju. I'm talking myself into something here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that one down for later.
Talking of Abomination though.
Yes. We had some more of our good old Emil Blonsky. Being just as weird as he was in the last episode, arguably maybe even a little bit weirder.
Yeah, because they're really stalling for time as well because Wong hasn't shown up. I bet that's going to be mentioned again. Like, this is going to be mentioned like later on. Oh, Wong was doing something big behind the scenes in another movie. I think this is what this show is doing. It's just like keeps on referencing like, yeah, stuff is happening. You're going to see what's going to happen, but you'll wait for it.
Mm. Yeah, no, like Wong keeps showing up in places. Is Wong the next Fury?
Maybe.
Because like, I think that's very possible.
Yeah.
Because he dealt directly with Shang-Chi. He's dealing directly with She-Hulk. Yeah. If there's something else he showed up in that I'm forgetting.
And he seems
Multiverse of Madness.
He also seems to be. He seems to also always be like involved in little teams. Like in Shang-Chi, like he's like part of, like, I guess the Avengers like intelligence group through the hologram stuff, you know.
Or at least he's specifically not parlaying, but like acting as in between the sorcerers and the Avengers.
Yeah, he's like yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's kind of like the informant on the magical side of things.
Yeah, which I think works. But yeah, so they stall for time during a court case. Not the court case; it's a parole hearing. Yeah. Very different. And they get a bunch of different witnesses. There's a guy who's like his marriage was fixed thanks to Abomination's input. Yeah. And he just keeps crying, and Emil's like, "Don't worry, let it out, man, let it out, man."
Yeah.
And he keeps crying. He's like, "Okay, maybe get this guy."
Yeah. Yeah, they stop making like prison hooch and replace it like with fancy prison hooch.
I believe the term was toilet kombucha or something.
Yeah,
Like that.
exactly. Yeah.
And
they haven't, or like like the library is now just not just a quiet place where you can stab somebody. Like it's it's somewhere where people read because he's told people to read and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's started a prison literacy program.
Again, I really hope, like I said, this is not so. I hope it doesn't come out. He double crossed you all along. He's actually still secretly evil. Blah blah blah. It's just like don't get me wrong. I don't mind him being a little bit shifty. Like they said that when he gets out, he'll have like a power
dampener
thing, and
it's like the things in Deadpool, the
Yeah.
necklace things that stop them from using their powers.
Yeah, and maybe he'll work around that somehow. I mean, there's every chance that in the Thunderbolts they're like, "Hey, did you miss being Abomination?" Yeah. Well, how about you do this for us and you can be him for a little bit.
I mean, I think it's almost more likely that in the Thunderbolts they'll come up to him and be like, "We need a Hulk," and I was like, "Well, you ask She-Hulk."
Yeah.
And they're like, "We need something vicious."
Yeah.
And they have to like convince him into it,
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like the Thunderbolts movie is going to have eel Captain America as well.
Yeah.
I'd say this is going to be like, we need a patriot. I know he's not American, but he certainly is in that realm, being an ex-soldier who wanted to be like Captain America.
Yeah, like he literally says that.
Yeah. So don't think they're just going to say, "Oh, he's vicious." It's like, we need someone who knows how to fight. We need someone who has been part of the military,
Yeah, you need to fight on behalf of the military. Your crimes, anything you do as the Abomination will be pardoned.
Yeah.
By the government.
Yeah.
Or whatever organization that is making the Thunderbolts, because it's a bit shady, given that the woman, I forget the actress's name, but she in the comics is usually affiliated with Hydra, so possibly Hydra made, but we don't know.
Could be some branch of Hydra as well. I mean, if you think about it, Hydra has been trying to make superheroes for a while as well.
I mean, the whole thing with Hydra is multiple heads.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think Hydra's gone like at all.
Not at all. Like, you're not going to throw away. Biggest problem with the MCU, in my opinion, like, there's a lot of things you can point at and say that's the biggest problem, that's the biggest problem. In my opinion, the biggest problem with the MCU is that they throw away bad guys that could be reused.
Yeah, like Warmonger.
Yeah. Do you mean Ironmonger?
Ironmonger. No,
From the first.
No, Black Panther, like.
Killmonger.
That's it. Sorry, I thought he was probably one of the best villains the MCU had.
Yeah. This one is a bit weird because the movie it was from the bad guys wasn't were very well used at all. But Iron Man 3 had AIM.
Yeah.
In it, which is the other big like Hydra-like organization of evil in Marvel, and it's just it's fucked now.
We want those yellow chemical suits. We want those yellow chemical suits.
Give me MODOK or give me death.
Yeah. Did you watch that weird puppet animation?
I did not.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't too bad, but yeah, it's weird.
I didn't watch it on the grounds of I want MODOK. I want MODOK, please.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that wasn't good enough for me. But
yeah, it's weird. So he wants to start a commune where people,
like a meditation commune.
Yeah, this sounds like a hippie commune kind of thing with a 7, his better eighths. Yeah.
Weird. A weird what's the word? A polygamistic?
Polygamy, yeah.
Polygamous. Yeah. That's it. His polygamous relationship with 7 women, who never get named. Named.
By the way, not weird because of polygamy. Perfectly valid way to live. It's more that the whole it feels like. It's not the healthiest
out of nowhere.
It feels more cultish than it feels. They genuinely care about him.
there's a scene in it where we see all his 7 like girlfriends, soulmates, whatever, and in the background of the parole hearing, and they're all dressed like they're from the fucking Midsummer movie.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's like, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Um, but like, hopefully they're like, it's just a weed thing and not like a Kool-Aid thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Where did he get the land from, I wonder?
he probably just had the. I mean, he's a soldier.
Yeah, but he's a British soldier with Russian ancestry. Like he was born in Russia but raised in Britain. It's weird that he has
and then joined the U.S. military.
Yeah, but he was like in the movie. He was transferred over into it. Like it wasn't that he was in the military before that. He was just in the British military before that.
Yeah,
He was like special ops that they brought in from outside.
Maybe like the very short amount of time he was on the super soldier program paid very well.
I wonder maybe someone is already kind of trying to get him on the Thunderbolts team, saying, "Look, we have a bit of land for you." Because I mean, here's the thing, right? So he turns into Abomination. The board is terrified, but they make the point that look, he can choose to move, but they're still terrified afterwards as well. And I kind of. Yeah. And there was one woman on the board who was very, very open about, hey, no, we should give him a chance. You know, like she was kind of really pushing it. And I'm wondering if she is part of that same group that got, you know, evil Captain America on board. Like, maybe they already gave him a bit of land saying, hey, look, this is why he's trying to get out as well. Like, you know,
they're like they're gilding the lily a bit.
Yeah, exactly, and they're trying to get him out, and that's why there was such a shift to him actually being allowed out, because they seem terrified enough that it's weird. They went, no, it's fine, he can leave now.
Yeah, like, I mean, he's kind of he's the biggest living terrorist in the MCU. I'd say is the best explanation for it.
Until Doom, baby.
Until Doom, baby. Well, I mean, would Doom be considered a terrorist?
Yes.
But, like, he doesn't really do terror.
Well, I mean, if you really... I was about to say Shang-Chi's father, but he's dead too. But he's a terrorist in many ways in the comics as well.
He doesn't really do terrorism, does he?
Yes, he does. He definitely does things for political reasons, yeah.
I guess so. See, whenever I think terrorism, I think blowing up things.
He blows stuff up as well!
I guess you're right.
Jesus Christ.
But, hey, look, we don't got
Doom simp.
We don't got Doom yet.
As being someone who's definitely a Doom simp, I love Doom. I can't wait.
Please, give me Doom or give me MODOK. Those are your two options.
Give me a Doom show in the style of She-Hulk, where it's him just like being very like, I gotta make it in the big city and be a lawyer.
Give me a political thriller about Doom.
Give me West Wing Doom.
I was almost going to say West Wing Doom.
Oh, I'd watch the hell out of West Wing Doom. It's just like all these people coming up saying, Doom, we have to do this. I do not care. I am Doom. He just walks down the hallway like, okay.
Like, Doom, we have to do this, and he shoots a laser from the palm of his hand because it was secretly a Doom bot.
Yeah. He's just has like a picture of Reed on a dartboard.
Yeah, and next to that dartboard is a picture of Reed's kid. It's like nowhere near any darts. I hope he's sleeping well.
Yeah, I think it was like from a panel of the comics. I think the daughter of Reed and Sue, and like they're in that area, and like she got out of bed and says, "You must return to bed. I insist every child in that area has a well-rested sleep." It's just like, okay, dude.
I like, tangent from She-Hulk. I fucking love how much Doom is the perfect babysitter for the Fantastic Four. Like, fucking hell, imagine having that weird a relationship with your biggest arch nemesis, that you can be like, oh, we've got to go on a mission to fight Galactus in space, but who will take care of the kids? pop over to Latveria and see if Doom is busy.
And he would. He'd be like, "Fine, Reed. Now, where are my crayons? Doom gets to use the green crayon."
You will be given the finest coloring book in Latveria.
Just like opens up like this exquisite coloring books. Like, pathetic. Bring me another.
And he fucking does a gravity crush.
Yeah. Give me anything like that with Doom, please.
Yeah, this is just going to evolve into us gushing about how much we want Doom in the MCU and how much we don't want Doom to be fucked up or killed in the first movie he's in MCU.
Or look like a melted Power Ranger.
That wasn't Doom. I refuse.
He really looked like a melted Power Ranger. It was so fucking bad. I don't know.
I remember I saw a video once. I don't remember who made the video, but they said that version of Doom would have been a much better version of, I think the villain was named Annihilus.
I think,
and I agree. Yeah. I agree. Not because I know exactly who Annihilus is, but because it would mean he's not Doom.
Yeah, I think another theory or something that they were building towards that he was going to basically act like a herald. To Galactus, like that the other world they
Silver
went to.
Surfer.
Yeah, it said that where they went to that other world was actually where Galactus was coming from. Like
that would make a little bit more sense too, because of all the holes everywhere in the ground, which was the same thing the Fantastic Four 2 was doing.
Apparently, like some of the art had Galactus imagery as well involved, and they just never used it.
God, it's almost as if that movie was bad and unfinished.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's go back to She-Hulk because it is a really great show. But I will say, I think this episode was probably the weakest one so far.
Yeah, like not a lot happened. It was the 2 court cases.
Really. Yeah, and I like the guys that attacked She-Hulk in the street, and it's just like, "What did you do? See an Asgardian builder's weapons?" It's like, yes. Like it's just like.
Firstly, I love how that's an origin story, and second of all, do you know who those guys are?
No idea whatsoever.
In the comics, they are the Wrecking Crew.
That makes sense.
They are Thor villains.
Oh, okay.
And they get pieces of like construction equipment that are enchanted in a lightning storm, I think.
I guess we mock it, but Thor does use a hammer.
Yeah. Actually, I've got a thing up here. They all held an enchanted crowbar in the air as lightning struck it, and were given what was it here? There's 4 of them. They were each given a quarter of the power
of Thor.
It doesn't say.
Okay, just an indeterminable amount of power was splitting 4.
Yes.
All right, cool.
They are given power in 4. I think just having them steal as Guardian shit makes as much sense. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I like that they're here. The like Thor villains. They have fought the Hulk a few times. Generally speaking, if someone fights Thor, they're probably going to fight Hulk too.
Yeah. Strongest Avengers.
So, yeah. Have they fought She-Hulk in the comics? Maybe. I didn't read that far into the wiki.
Yeah.
But they joined a few different groups. For example, the Masters of Evil, which are sometimes connected to the Thunderbolts, I think.
Okay.
So I don't think these guys will join the Thunderbolts. They very much seem like just jobber bad guys who are here to fight She-Hulk occasionally.
But they also don't seem like nameless thugs either. Like, they do talk a little bit in the van afterwards. Now they could have just had them run away, and that's the last we saw. But we saw a little bit of interaction between them, and they're trying to get her blood.
She-Hulk's blood. Yeah. So this is them setting up that there is going to be a bad guy for the show, which we all expected. It's a Marvel superhero show. There's going to be a bad guy. Who do you think is trying to get her blood? I kind of have a thought, but I'm not 100%.
I think it's behind the whole Thunderbolts thing. I think they want to get Abomination, but Abomination is a backup plan. I think they want to make more Hulks, obviously. And one person who can help with that would be Abomination. It worked with him, so to speak.
So that would work. But I I have two ideas actually
All
on
right.
this. Um, both of them are a bit out there. I think one is slightly less out there. My more out there one is that their boss is the leader. Um,
Right. Do you want to explain the
and
leader to people who don't know?
I'll explain the leader a little bit. The leader is kind of Thor, or not Thor, the Hulk's biggest enemy. It depends on who you ask. Sometimes it's leader, sometimes it's like Abomination or something.
Someone's the future version
Um,
of himself.
yeah, the Hulk doesn't really have a hard and fast arch nemesis, I don't think. But the leader
Pants.
is essentially, yes, sorry, yes, his arch nemesis is Pants.
Yeah.
Um, but the leader is sometimes his arch nemesis and kind of represents the Hulk's direct opposite. While they are both green skinned, the leader's mind was enhanced by gamma radiation instead of his muscles.
Yeah.
Um, and he has like psychic powers. He's extremely intelligent, but by God, does he get the shit beaten out of him by the Hulk, being a fucking nerd. He has appeared in the MCU, and no one fucking remembers it because it was a random ass guy in Incredible Hulk who hasn't appeared since. Basically, in the same scene where Emil Blonsky got turned into the Abomination, some of
Yeah.
Hulk's blood leaked into this guy's head wound, and his head started to grow. Now, slightly niche MCU detail that not a lot of people probably know. Before the Avengers movie, the first Avengers movie came out, there was a comic that was released. And that comic showed some events of other things that happened
With
in the
Shield,
MCU.
wasn't it?
With Shield, yes.
Yeah.
And one of those events was Black Widow going to Harlem after the Incredible Hulk rampage and meeting the leader as he's trying to leave that lab, and she hits him with a taser, and he gets sent to prison. And
Yeah.
that's the last we see of the leader.
Interesting. A super powered prison.
Yes, very interesting. So I think that could possibly lead into the leader being this guy. He wants more Hulk blood. He's the last person we saw who wanted Hulk's blood for experimentation. Um, I don't know if they'd get the same actor. They don't really have to, given that he's going to be a mutant head.
Here's the weird
Um,
thing. Like, I always mix up the leader with Sinestro. They're like that twin separated at birth.
they
Because-
do have a very similar look.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like one was like the nerdy, brainy kid, the other one like jewelry.
Yeah. So the leader is kind of my more out there pick. I say more out there because we have had literally no hint that it could be the leader directly.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I think it's a good time as any, for the leader show up.
yeah, I think they should, because like this movie has been referencing Incredible Hulk. So I think they should reference it.
Also, it's
Now,
yeah. Yeah, go on.
my other choice for who it might be, and this is going to make you go, who? Mallory Book.
The name sounds familiar. But go on.
That's because they said it in this episode.
Oh, right. Cool.
Mallory Book, if you remember, there was the scene where She-Hulk was asked to take that light elf case.
Yeah.
And another lawyer walked in after her and was introduced as Mallory Book, and she also didn't accept the case.
Okay.
So that's the only thing we've seen of her. However, I didn't think much of it until I read somewhere that this is actually a Marvel character.
All right.
Not only is this a Marvel character, Mallory Book is ostensibly She-Hulk's main legal rival in the comics. To the point where she has actively tried to destroy She-Hulk's career, and I haven't read super into this, but she tried to make her own She-Hulk at one point.
Yeah.
But basically, she at one point she got her revoked from the bar by having her attack her own client in public. Because she made her defend a villain.
Right.
But yeah, so I don't know super much about Mallory Book other than she is She-Hulk's biggest rival and tries to ruin her all the time. The only reason I am even humoring Mallory Book is because she appeared in this episode. Uh, because otherwise, I don't think she's that interesting a name to lend to. Oh yes, the villain of this, Mallory.
Yeah.
You know,
Um. I
she is called the face that never lost a case, as
Okay.
well. But
Fair
eh,
enough. I thought that was a great reference to She-Hulk's original origin in this episode as well. It's a
they did, yeah.
kind of a blink and you miss a thing. Like I think it was during all the news stuff. Where it says, "Oh, she's pregnant with Abomination's child" and all this kind of stuff, and then once I think, "Is it true that a mobster almost killed you, and that's what turned you to the She-Hulk?" And she goes like, "What?" And it's just,
Yeah.
and it's just like, yeah, that's actually kind of what happened. A big
Yeah,
crime boss went after,
and the
was going
comics
after,
happened.
yeah, and yeah, that's her actual origin story. Yeah, I thought it was
I,
nice in the moment.
I like when they do that. They reference the actual origin and how it's different from what we got.
Yeah,
Because like it doesn't always work. Do you know? Like, I mean, we could have had her do that, but they'd have to make Bruce culpable for having her turn into the She-Hulk again. This kind of removed the um what negligence of giving her Hulk blood
yeah,
from it, because it was an accident in this. There was also another blink and you miss it comics cameo uh, in this, and that's the lawyer who got Abomination sent to prison was Gideon Wilson,
all right.
who in the comics is the brother of Sam Wilson, the Falcon.
Oh, damn. I mean, the thing
Yeah,
is, we've met some of Sam's family, like his sister, and some other family, like nephews. And interesting.
yeah. We're like I don't know if they're going to connect this character to Sam. They might,
Yeah.
but
I think
like
what they're
either
doing a
way,
lot.
it's
I think a lot of what they're doing right now is that they're just sprinkling things down. If they want to pick it
yeah.
up later on, they will. If they don't, it's just a nice little reference.
Yeah. I will point out a little thing. So Gideon Wilson isn't really a big character in the comics.
Yeah,
He fought the Hulk once when he joined a thing called the Gamma Corps,
yeah.
which is basically a team to that were given like Hulk powers to fight the Hulk. And he wanted to fight the Hulk because his son died of AIDS and he blamed the Hulk. And I just want you to know
Um,
that the wiki gave me no other information. That is
okay.
the only thing it says. And then later on, it says uh, the Hulk. He acknowledges the Hulk's points that Jim died of AIDS, and he was only attacking Hulk because he was ashamed of his own failures of a father. Uh,
That's certainly a
there's
jump.
there's no explanation on the wiki at all. I feel like I'm missing crucial and vital information to understanding what the fuck this means.
Maybe it was just at the time when like the AIDS epidemic was happening. It's like, oh, look, we'll just AIDS. It was AIDS. Yeah, you
See,
know.
I would agree with you, but this art does not look like it comes from that era at
Okay,
all.
interesting. All right.
Um, so I have no idea. He apparently, yeah, because his first appearance was in 2007.
Okay.
So yeah, this is not. I don't know what the fuck this was.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Um, but yeah, he appeared in this. He was a lawyer instead of like a soldier who underwent gamma surgery. I think much like other characters who have been name dropped who later get gamma radiation and turn into a Hulk like, he won't in the series. Like for example, we had Doc Samson in the last I think it was Doc Samson in Incredible Hulk, who becomes I can't remember his hero name, but he becomes like a very hairy version of the Hulk. Um,
Right.
which I think we missed out on because it would have meant more Ty Burrell in the MCU.
Fair. Fair.
However, that might have stopped him from appearing in Modern Family. So I
Yeah.
don't know if. However, that would have meant that we would have gotten Ty Burrell with the Marvel workout in Modern Family.
Yeah. I suppose we would have.
God, there's so many gives and takes with this.
Yeah. But yeah.
Um, yeah, we We're kind of all over the place with our description of this episode.
Yeah. Well,
But we've
I'm
covered
sure.
pretty much everything.
Yeah. I think everything and then a bit more. But I think we'll leave it at that for this week because we're a nice minute mark here. So folks, let us know if we got any of the comic information wrong or didn't present it right. Did we miss any references or little Easter eggs? We'd love to know, and also explain why someone was angry with Hulk because of AIDS.
Please explain that one to me. I'm just so confused. The wiki didn't help.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it from me. I think it's from you as well.
Yeah, I've got nothing else to say.
All right, folks. We'll talk to you next week. Let us know if you enjoyed the episode. Let us know what you think might happen next episode. I notice now that credits, drawing scenes are not just telling you the future all the time. They do a little bit,
We have to talk about the end credit scene.
Oh, do we?
Look, there was an end credit scene in this episode. You don't need to watch it. I recommend you don't.
Should we tell them? Let's tell them.
Oh my god. This is an end credit scene for this podcast because we just gave the outro.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be merciful, and you don't have to see us fucking twerking CGI.
But I will be photoshopping the cover later on, so
Oh, God, spare me.
Look, it's Miss Stallion.
Megan the Stallion.
And she says she really actually enjoys She-Hulk, that she's cool, she's way cooler than her last lawyer. And She-Hulk goes, I will murder for you, and that's a bit extreme. And to be fair, she also goes like, alright, dial it back there, getting weird. Yeah. And then they start twerking with big zoom ups.
Yeah. Look.
Yeah.
We've been very forgiving on the CGI. This did not look right.
The CGI was odd in general in this. There were definitely a few times. I think it was at one stage where She-Hulk came into her office, and I genuinely thought it was her friend who decided to paint her face green. And I was like, she's
been walking weird too.
Yeah. I think maybe they did really good CG for the first episodes, and now it's starting to show a little bit.
I think what's more likely is that this is a slightly longer episode count, so they're just divvying up the budget differently.
Yeah, and I guess her walking around and not doing She-Hulk stuff, like her fighting scene was pretty good with the thugs.
It wasn't long, but it was good.
Yeah, I mean the CG looked fine, so maybe they're just leaving some of the better CG for fight scenes and stuff like that, which is fair enough. Look, it's still a television budget, and they're not going to put more money into it than they're going to get back out of it. So
Yeah. So there you go. We addressed the fucking twerk.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't great. I don't know what stand they made with that, but fair enough. Anyway,
a poor one.
Yeah. That's it from me.
That's it for me.
And we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Well, bye.
Asherlo.